On this episode of In the Studio, we're heading back into our Bus Glue series, and today it's all about that bass. Let's get started. Welcome back to In the Studio, the show that helps you unleash your creativity. My name is Nick Pilata, and today we are talking about BG bass. Now, 9 times out of 10 for me, when I'm listening to a song from a mix perspective, it's always the low end that makes or breaks the mix for me. And BG bass is going to be a really awesome contributing factor to being able to control our low end's dynamics and make everything sound smooth and consistent. So let's dive into the DAW now, and I'm going to show you what our bass tracks are looking like. So here we are now in the session. As you can see, I have my bass split into 2 tracks. We've got the bass low end and the bass high end. Now for this song specifically, we used a fake bass or a MIDI bass. I believe the bass that we used was a 1996 Fender All-American jazz bass. And it sounded awesome, and we just didn't have time to track the bass, unfortunately, so we just had to use MIDI. But let's go ahead and take a listen to just the low end here first and see what that sounds like. Cool. It's a really warm sound. It sounds really full. And now let's take a listen to the high end. For this one, I basically took out all of the low end and then I reamped the high end through a Dark Glass B7K. Let's take a listen to what that sounds like. Great, so it still sounds full, but there's not much low end in it. It's still giving us that high end crispy distortion that we're looking for. Let's go ahead and solo both, and I'll show you what it sounds like together. Awesome. Sounds really smooth, sounds really good, but what I want to do now is load up BG bass, and we are going to see what we can do with this. Now right off the bat, what's really cool about this plugin is this method option. Essentially, you can just compress the low end, you can just compress the high end, or you can compress everything about your bass track. So what I want to do now is go ahead and just pull this up a little bit, and let's just experiment with the different methods and see what we can get. So what I'm listening for is just an overall really consistent sound. And what I like the most about this bass track is that the high end to me already sounds pretty good. So what I maybe want to do is just focus more on the low end. So I'm going to pull this back to the low end, and now let's take a listen to this. I'm going to keep playing this. I'm going to experiment with some different compression settings, and let's take a listen to how it's going to change the low end. I'm going to hop on over to the chorus here where the bass is being more consistently played, and what I want to do now is just bypass the plugin on and off and see just what it's doing to our low end. Let's take a listen. Awesome. So it's really pocketing the bass more. It's making kind of the high end and the low end marry each other more. It's making the low end more smooth and more consistent throughout the performance, which is exactly what you want in a mix. And it's also letting the high end breathe a little bit, letting the distortion peak out a little bit more. So what I want to do now is I want to bring the drums back in, and we'll slowly start to build our mix a little bit here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ride the output here to see when it feels nice and settled in with the drums. So let's go up here, unmute this, and let's take a listen. That sounds awesome. And using this output knob here is a really awesome way to control the volume of your track in the event that you have some automation going on. And this is on all of the BG Bus Glue series plugins as well. So that's great. It's so easy to dial in a great bass tone using BG Bass. And for me in this situation, all I did was compress the low end. However, experiment by compressing just the high end, or also compress the high end and the low end in your mixes and see what you get. This bass tone is also giving us a really full and rich sound when added in with the drums that we worked on last episode. And in the next episode, we're going to dive into guitars. So stick around for that. It's going to be great. For more information on BG Bass and all of the Bus Glue series, as well as all JST plugins, visit joeysturgistones.com.